What's going on, guys? Nick here, and today since we have passed 1,000 subscribers on the channel, as promised, I'm giving you the 25,000 mile update on my Subaru BRZ, and I'm going to split this into two-part video. The first part is going to be the 25,000 mile update because I feel like the video is probably going to get a little too long if I do both, and second part will be the mod list of everything I've done to the car, which isn't going to be really a huge list, but I do want to go over everything I've done to it, cosmetic-wise, performance-wise, and so you guys know everything that's done to the car, because I know there's a lot of new faces on the channel that have been watching, so if there's anything that you've missed since you're a new subscriber, I'm going to try and cover that as much as possible in the mod list video, so that is going to be part 2 to the 1,000 subscriber special. So let's get started here on the 25,000 mile update on my Subaru BRZ. So the car is currently at 25,298 miles, and I've been enjoying every single mile driving this car. Ever since I got it, I practically fell in love with it, and I'm going to do a later video explaining why I chose this car, but this video is specifically going to be of what the car has been like over the past 25,000 miles. It has been my daily driver, it is my only car, and I've been driving it through summer and winter. I live in northeastern Pennsylvania, so I do get a decent amount of snow every year, and the car is currently on its snow tire setup, so I'm going to go a little bit into that, but this is my daily, and you guys are going to get every impression that I have with this car, all my complaints, all my happy things. I love the exhaust on this car. That is probably, the exhaust and the tune is what this car needs when you get it. My initial thoughts of this car when I got it was that it was okay, but then as time went on, I craved more power, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of fellow 86 owners can agree to that once you start driving this car for a decent amount of time, you start to want, and when you start to want, you start to mod, and I did start modding, and the car has a header unequal length from Borla, a Burke front pipe and a Burke muffler delete, and a Moto East 93 octane tune, and the car feels much better. After all that, the car made 188 wheel horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque, and the torque dip is practically gone. Torque dip in this car when you buy it new is a big problem. And doing the unequal length header in the tune is what fixes that. So that is my favorite mod to this car, absolutely, without a doubt. It really helps wake the car up performance-wise, and I recommend that anyone with an 86 swap out the header and do a tune. So, have I had any problems with this car over 25,000 miles? Yes, I have, but they're pretty minor, and I'm going to go into them in detail. The first problem I ever had with the car was something that the dealer had screwed up when they installed it. So when I got the car, it came with a auto-dimming rear view mirror that's dealer installed. It came with that, and when I test drove the car, the mirror shook. Like, I thought, I guess it was normal, because that's how the car was brand new, so it shook a little bit, and I wondered why. And after about driving the car for 1,000 miles, my rearview mirror fell off while I was driving. And I pulled over, I looked at it, and I saw that they stripped out the screw for where the mirror screws in, and that's what caused it to fall out. I took it to the dealer, they reinstalled a brand new unit for the rearview mirror, and I haven't had a problem since. The mirror is completely solid, and I absolutely love it. It has garage capabilities on it, I believe, but I don't use it because I don't have a garage. Sorry. And that was the first problem I had with the car, was the rearview mirror falling off. Another problem I had with the car was the clutch started to squeak, and it wasn't just the pedal that was squeaking, it was a mechanism in the clutch, and I started freaking out, and I looked on a bunch of forums, and apparently the throwout bearing is a big problem with these cars. They go extremely early. I really don't know why, but the throwout bearings do go pretty early on these cars, so I was really nervous that it was a throwout bearing. I took it to the dealership, they looked at it, and they ended deciding that it was the shift fork that needed to be greased, and they greased the shift fork. I drove the car around for a little bit, and the squeaking went away. So I'm pretty sure that they fixed the problem there. If I have another problem with it, they said just bring it back. So the clutch squeaking, that was something that really made me nervous, but the dealership fixed that by greasing my shift fork, and hopefully it doesn't come back, and hopefully I don't have a problem with the throttle bearing. The clutch in this car, ever since it was new, I always just had an issue with it because it makes some of the weirdest noises of any clutch. I mean, it might be because this car doesn't have a lot of sound deadening, so you hear a lot of what happens when it's very mechanical. Everything you can hear because there's no sound deadening in the car, so maybe that's why. But I've driven a lot of manual transmission cars, and this stock clutch makes the most noise out of any of them, and it kind of makes me nervous. But I mean, I'm just gonna drive it until something happens, and if something does happen, I'm gonna swap the clutch to something aftermarket. Other than those things, the car has been pretty reliable. Not a lot has happened with it. Sadly, the car was rear-ended twice since I've owned it. Once was pretty serious. At about 7,000 miles, I got rear-ended by a drunk driver, and the car had almost 10,000. It had over 10,000 in damage, and I was really nervous that it was going to be totaled. They ended up fixing it, and then I had problems with the body shops that fixed it. A lot of them did fix their issues. The first body shop fixed all the issues. The second body shop still didn't, and that really upsets me because they don't own up to their work. Me and my buddy went up, we took the car, we actually got them to admit, they said to me, we can't recreate factory work and we do not back our work. So they are the absolute worst body shop that I've ever went to in my entire life. I'm not going to say a name because I'm not going to get charged with slander because that's no bueno. But the car was rear-ended a second time, and it was just a light fender bender. The rear bumper was messed up and the exhaust needed to be replaced, and that was it. So that was the second accident for the car. I guess it was just a series of bad luck that I ran into. I was stationary both times the car was hit, so I really couldn't help what happened. I was stopped both times. So the big question is, after driving this car and owning it for 25,000 miles, would I buy this car again? And I'm going to make the answer very short and say yes, I would buy this car again. And I'm going to explain in a later video, like I said earlier, exactly why I bought this car. Because I know there's a lot of fun, affordable cars in the $25,000 range, and a lot of people ask, why didn't I go with one of those cars? Why didn't I go with the Genesis Coupe? Why didn't I go with say an EcoBoost Mustang? I'm gonna go over that in a later video so you guys can get some closure, I guess you could say, on why I chose this car. But again, I'm gonna put that in a later video. The car does very well on fuel, even tuned the way mine is. For the first 25,000 miles, I actually figured out what my gas mileage was average on the whole time I've owned the car, and it's right around 28.5 miles per gallon of what I've averaged, which that's a pretty respectable number from a car that is tuned the way it is. Future plans for the car, I am doing wheels and tires in the spring. I have Ibach Pro Kit lowering springs at my house, and that's going to really help out the handling and help out the appearance of the car very greatly. Down the road, I do want to do forced induction onto the car. I've been researching a lot of kits on whether or not I want to go supercharger or turbo, and I'm leaning more towards the supercharger because if I went turbo, everything I've done to the car pretty much, I would have to take off and sell and start over fresh because I would need a new exhaust manifold. So that would kind of really suck that I'd have to take everything off. Plus, I really like the way the supercharger operates. I mean, it does rob a little bit of power because it does use engine power to power itself, but I do like the instant power, and I do like the reliability of the supercharger. If I went with a specific kit, I believe I would go with the Jackson Racing supercharger. They just released the C38 unit, and I am really considering that one because I could run more power down the road if I really wanted to, and it's just a really solid kit. So one of the biggest complaints about this car would be the interior for a lot of people. A lot of people say it's cheap, and it does have a lot of rattles in it. My opinions on this interior is yes, it is cheap. There are a lot of hard plastics, but you're buying a $25,000 car. I mean, you shouldn't expect the interior to be Mercedes-like or luxurious at all. I mean, it's a sports car as well, so I mean, sports cars really aren't the most luxurious of vehicles, and I'm okay with that. The interior of this car does not bother me in the slightest. The only thing I have to say about this interior is there are loads of rattles in it. A lot of them are caused by my exhaust, but a lot of them are not. My seatbelts in the car squeak, and I have a rattle in my glove box that was, I believe, a technical service bulletin released by Subaru that you need to pack felt around a little black box that rattles in the glove box. So that is something that I'm looking into doing so that goes away. Other than that, I mean, when I play the stereo, the doors rattle from the speakers, and really a lot of people do complain about the speakers in this car as well. I don't really have too much of an issue with them. If I can hear my stereo over my loud, obnoxious exhaust, it's good enough for me. So I'm okay with the stereo in this car, and the only complaint for me in the interior would be the amount of rattles and squeaks that there are. But again, it is a $25,000 car, so don't expect a very luxurious interior. So that's my thoughts on that. If you guys were wondering, I did road trip this car in July to South Carolina, and the car did very well. I averaged a maximum of about 35 miles per gallon, which is pretty ridiculous considering the flow of traffic in Virginia moves extremely fast, and I still averaged around 35. That was really good, and it was a good car to road trip. My only complaints were that my exhaust was kind of loud, but that's my own fault. But the other complaint is that these seats are not the most comfortable seats in the world after a couple hours. I'd say if you were road tripping for maybe 5 to 6 hours, you'd be okay. But my road trip was anywhere between 11 to 13 hours. So my ass hurt after a while. So if you road trip this car and you're going for a very long period of time, your ass is gonna hurt and you're gonna be butthurt like I was. So finally, after owning this car for 25,000 miles, I am completely happy with my purchase. I would buy this car again, and I can't wait to drive it another 25,000 miles to give you guys an update. A lot of mods will be coming in the spring, and I hope you guys are ready for that, because I'm so excited to start doing stuff to this car again, so you guys would have more content to see and more reviews coming from me, because reviews are fun, and installing parts is fun. So that's pretty much all I want to say in this 25,000 mile update on the car. Again, I want to thank everyone who is subscribed. My goal of 1,000 subscribers is finally here, and you guys are totally awesome for that. I can't thank you guys enough for being here and helping this channel grow. I really want to thank you guys for joining this group we have here on YouTube. It is an awesome group. You guys are all very positive and very good people, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on my little journey here on YouTube, and liking, commenting, and subscribing, because without you guys I couldn't do a lot of this stuff. So from the bottom of my heart, I do thank you guys for helping me to reach the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. Expect more from me. I'm not going anywhere. I have tons of video ideas for you, and part 2 of the 1,000 subscriber special will be coming up very shortly. It's very windy today, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish filming that, but the mod list for the car will be put out very soon. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video, and as always, see yous. Because you guys are so awesome.